If your Social Security deposit showed up this year and felt a little smaller than you expected, you're not imagining it. There's a real reason for that, and once you understand it, the whole picture actually makes more sense. Today, we're walking through your April 2026 payment dates, what changed in your benefit at the start of this year, and one update that is genuinely helping a specific group of people who may have felt shortchanged by the system for a long time. If any of those things touch your situation, stay with me. This one's worth your time. Let's start with the most straightforward piece. When is your money coming? If you receive Supplemental Social Security, SSI, your April payment is scheduled to arrive on Tuesday, April 1st. That's it. Clean date, no complications, no shifted timing from a holiday or a weekend. After a few months where SSI deposit dates moved around a bit due to calendar quirks, April gives you a completely predictable date to work with. If you've been juggling bills around a moving target, April is a steadier month than recent ones have been. For everyone receiving regular Social Security retirement, survivor, or disability benefits, April follows the standard birthday-based schedule, and it lines up cleanly this month. If you are born on the 1st through the 10th of any month, your April payment arrives on Wednesday, April 9th. If you are born between the 11th and the 20th, look for it on Wednesday, April 16th. And if your birthday falls between the 21st and the 31st, your deposit is scheduled for Wednesday, April 23rd. There are two exceptions worth knowing. If you started receiving Social Security before May 1997, or if you currently receive both Social Security and SSI at the same time, your April payment is scheduled for Thursday, April 3rd. That's an earlier date, and it applies specifically to you. Most of these come through as direct deposits, and they typically process overnight or in the early morning hours. Some banks post them a little later in the day. That's normal. The Social Security Administration generally suggests waiting at least 3 business days before calling about a payment that seems late. Take a breath first. Most delays resolve on their own. Here's something I want you to actually think about for a moment, not just listen to. You now know exactly when your money is coming. But do you know the exact amount that's going to hit your account? Not the gross benefit, the actual deposit number. Because for a lot of people right now, those two figures are further apart than they expected. At the start of 2026, Social Security applied a 2.5% cost of living adjustment to benefits. That's been in your payments since January. For someone receiving around $1,800 a month, that works out to roughly $45 more per month before anything else is factored in. That sounds meaningful, and it is, on paper. But here's what the headline doesn't mention. If you're enrolled in Medicare Part B, and most Social Security recipients are, your premium is deducted directly from your Social Security payment before it ever reaches your account. In 2026, the standard Medicare Part B premium is $185 a month. So if your premium went up at all this year, even by $10 or $15, some portion of that COLA increase went straight to Medicare. Not to you. Let me make that real with a specific example. Margaret is 67 and retired from her job as a school librarian in Ohio. Her gross Social Security benefit is $1,890 a month. After her $185 Medicare Part B premium is deducted, what actually lands in her bank account is $1,705. Her 2.5% COLA added about $47 to her gross benefit, but her Medicare premium also went up slightly from last year. Her actual take-home increase was closer to $35 a month. That's not nothing, but it's also not what the 2.5% announcement sounded like. And if you're in a higher income tier, your Medicare premium may be higher than the standard $185, sometimes significantly. If that applies to you, the math shifts further. This is not a reason to be upset with the system. It's just important to understand how the numbers actually connect. So when you look at your deposit and wonder why it feels smaller than the announcement suggested, you know exactly why. The gross went up. The net is a different story. Here's a simple habit that pays off. Pull up your most recent Social Security statement. You can find it at ssa.gov and look at two numbers side by side, your gross monthly benefit and your net deposit after deductions. If those two numbers surprise you, now is a good time to understand why. It only takes a few minutes, and it puts you in a much steadier position when the next change comes along, because changes do keep coming. I want to ask you something directly. Have you actually logged into ssa.gov and pulled up your current benefit statement in the last few months? If you have, drop a note in the comments and tell me what surprised you most. A lot of people go years without looking at their full statement, and when they finally do, something always catches them off guard. Now I want to talk about something that's genuinely good news, and it's already showing up in payments for the people it affects. For decades, two rules inside Social Security reduced benefits for certain public sector workers: teachers, firefighters, police officers, and other government employees who had pensions from jobs where Social Security taxes weren't collected. Many of them saw their Social Security benefits reduced under what were called the windfall elimination provision and the government pension offset. The Social Security Fairness Act, which was signed into law in January 2025, eliminated both of those provisions. For the people affected, and there are about 3 million of them across the country, the difference is real and often substantial. David is 64 and spent 22 years as a firefighter for a city in Colorado. He was also receiving Social Security from private sector work earlier in his career. Under the old rules, his Social Security benefit was reduced by more than $300 a month because of his firefighter's pension. After the law changed, that reduction went away. His ongoing benefit went up by $310 a month, and he received a retroactive payment covering the months since the law took effect. If you or someone you know worked in public service, teaching, law enforcement, municipal work, and received a pension from that job, this change may directly apply to you. It's worth checking your current benefit amount and comparing it to what you were receiving before January 2025. The Social Security Administration has been processing these adjustments, but the volume of corrections is significant. Some people have already seen their updated payments. Others are still waiting. If you believe you're affected and haven't seen a change yet, contacting SSA is the right move. Just build in extra time for that process, which I'll mention in a moment. Let me be honest with you about something. For years, I walked people through COLA adjustments and benefit expectations without really digging into the Medicare premium piece. I assumed most people understood how the deduction worked. Eventually, I realized that wasn't true, and that a lot of frustration around my benefit went up, but I don't feel it, came directly from that gap in understanding. That's the piece I've tried to make clearest in this video, because once you understand it, a lot of things that felt confusing start to make sense. If you need to contact Social Security this month, whether it's about a payment question, a missing adjustment, or anything related to your account, there's something practical you should know going in. The Social Security Administration has been shifting toward a more centralized system over the past year. More requests are being handled through online portals and automated phone systems. Some local field offices that used to handle walk-in questions have reduced their in-person availability. What this means for you in April? Wait times are longer than they were a year ago. A call that used to take 20 minutes may now take considerably longer. If your question requires speaking with a live representative, plan for that. That's not a complaint, it's just the current reality, and going in prepared is better than being surprised. The online portal at ssa.gov handles a lot of routine requests faster than the phone line. If your question is straightforward, checking a payment amount, updating direct deposit information, viewing your statement, starting there often saves time. There's a piece of proposed legislation I want to mention, and I want to be careful to call it what it is: a proposal. It hasn't become law yet. A bill called the Senior Citizens Freedom to Work Act has been introduced in the Senate. If passed, it would eliminate the earnings test for Social Security retirement beneficiaries. Right now, if you're under your full retirement age and receiving Social Security retirement benefits while also working, there's an income threshold. In 2026, that limit is $23,400 a year, according to SSA's published guidelines. If your earnings from work go above that, your benefit is temporarily reduced, $1 for every $2 you earn over the limit. That rule has frustrated a lot of people who want to work a few days a week without having to constantly calculate whether they've crossed a threshold. The proposed legislation would remove that calculation entirely. But, and this matters, it has not passed. If you're currently making decisions about how much to work this year, use the existing rules. The $23,400 limit is still in effect. I'll keep watching this one and update you when there's news. Here's a simple way to think about the difference between what's law and what's proposed. The WEP-GPO repeal, law, already affecting payments. The earnings test repeal, proposal, plan around current rules until it changes. Keeping those two things clear saves a lot of confusion. One more thing I want to mention before we wrap up, because scam activity tends to increase whenever there's news coverage of Social Security changes. And right now, there's plenty of news coverage. The Social Security Administration does not call you demanding immediate action. They do not threaten suspension of your number. They do not ask for payment by gift card, wire transfer, or cryptocurrency. If you receive a call or a message that does any of those things, claiming to be from Social Security, hang up. Do not engage. The SSA will send you a letter if they need something from you. That's how legitimate contact works. A letter, not a threatening phone call. If you're ever uncertain whether a contact is real, you can call SSA directly at 1-888-772-1213 to verify. Never call back a number that was left in a voicemail. Let's bring this all back together because this is the part that actually matters for your April budget. Your deposit amount is determined by your gross benefit minus any deductions, and for most people receiving Social Security, the biggest deduction is Medicare Part B, currently $185 a month at the standard rate. The 2.5% COLA that took effect in January did increase your gross benefit. But if your Medicare premium also increased, part of that COLA went there first. The number that hits your account is the net. The number that's announced is the gross. Understanding the gap between those two figures is how you budget accurately, not just this month, but every month going forward. That's the practical takeaway. Know your gross, know your deductions, plan around your net. Here's a question I'd like you to think about, and I'd genuinely love to hear your answer in the comments. If you had to estimate right now, before you look it up, what percentage of your monthly expenses does your Social Security deposit actually cover? Leave your number below. Most people, when they do this math honestly, are surprised by either how high or how low it is. It's one of those numbers that's worth knowing precisely. At the start of this video, I said your deposit might look different than you expected, and now you know why. The COLA added to your gross, your Medicare premium subtracted from it. The net deposit is what matters. And now you know how to read it. Here's the complete picture for April 2026. Your payment schedule is clean and predictable. SSI arrives April 1st. Early recipients and dual recipients see theirs April 3rd. Birthday-based payments fall on April 9th, April 16th, or April 23rd, depending on when in the month you were born. Your gross benefit reflects the 2.5% COLA. Your net deposit reflects your Medicare deduction. If you're a qualifying public sector worker, the WEP-GPO correction may already be in your payments, or still in process. Know your gross. Know your deductions. Budget around your net. That's the whole thing. For a lot of people, these payments aren't just money. They're the thing that makes independence possible. The thing that means you don't have to ask someone else to cover your groceries or your prescriptions. Getting clear on exactly how these deposits work, down to the actual number that lands in your account, is one of the most practical things you can do for your peace of mind this month. If this helped you feel more prepared heading into April, I'd appreciate a like. It genuinely helps other people in the same situation find this information when they need it. And subscribing makes sure you're here when the next update comes out, because things in the space keep moving. The number that gets announced is your gross. The number that matters is your net. There's a gap between those two, and most people have never stopped to measure it. Here's the question this video probably left you with. When is the right time to actually claim Social Security? Early, late, or exactly at your full retirement age? Thanks for spending time with me. I will see you the next one.